What's happening, guys? So definitely a little bit of a tough break the other night in the old green Camaro, old Z, but we hit a little baby deer with this thing. So I kind of popped the dents out preliminarily. It's not too damaged, and I'm pretty sure if I get the old rubber hammer on here, they'll pop out pretty well. And I'm really glad, you know, I have been, you can see I took it apart a little bit, but it didn't damage this valence. It kind of screwed it up here. I think it kind of shocked it on this radius and a little bit of damage there, but you know, this is, I can probably just spray a little green on there and then re-clear that panel. So overall, not too bad of damage. I'm glad it was a smaller deer, but definitely not ideal. But so this video is going to be mainly tailored towards, you know, fixing this fender. So I'm going to pop it out, and then I've been watching some videos on how to use like a hammer and dolly, you know, hammer on dolly, hammer off dolly, all those good techniques. Lots of information on YouTube, and I'm hoping that we can get this worked out of here. It is kind of kinked right here, but I'm going to try my best on here. I have had this car, you know, on the road for almost a decade, so never hit anything, so I am, you know, can't be too angry about it, but definitely not happy. So I'm going to get right to work pulling this off and put you guys on the time lapse. All right, so I got it off. Definitely kind of a process. I didn't realize there was a screw down here. I was kind of holding it on there, so a little bit of a hiccup there. Definitely sucks taking these fenders off because I feel like it's always kind of inevitable to damage this edge right here. But I am going to be shooting a little bit of citrus green, as you can see on this fender, so I'll be able to touch that up. Should be fine. So yeah, I did paint these a little while back, the inner fender wells, but I'm going to jump on trying to hit these main dents with the rubber hammer and try and get them kind of popped out. I have a feeling they're not going to want to pop out that well. It's not going to just return to normal. And it does have this crease in here, so that'll be kind of a problem. I don't know if you guys can see it. It has that crease right in here, so hopefully I can work that out of there. That's probably going to be my biggest challenge, trying to get the curvature back, but we're going to give it our best shot because this original metal is hard to come by these days, so we're going to try our best to get it straightened out. It's really not looking all that bad. That crease in there is a little bit, I don't know if you guys can see all that well, but this crease up here is probably the thing I'm most worried about because I'm hoping that I can pound it out, but if not, then I might have to get a new fender, which wouldn't be ideal, but the paint isn't, you know, that old. It hasn't been sitting out in the sun, so it should match up pretty well to, you know, any paint or any paint of this color code that I buy of the same brand. So I'm not too concerned about it, but I definitely don't really want to go with an aftermarket fender, so we'll hope it works out. All right, so I kind of got a little crazy apparatus set up here. So what I'm trying to do is, it looks like this fender, when it got hit, it kind of got rolled down. So I'm going to try, or I'm trying to pull up on it here, you know, not too much pressure. And then I'm going to pound this out so it kind of sinks back in and this side comes up a little bit. Because that's like, you know, I have pounded quite a few of these dents out, like over here. You can see it's looking pretty straight, but this is kind of the main problem that I'm seeing as the big thing. So I've been trying to push down on here, but I'm going to take the hammer to it and try and, you know, kind of beat that crease out of there. So I'll let you know how it goes. All right, you can see, so I've sanded it quite a bit, and you can see where the low spots are. Sprayed some dye in there. This stuff works really nice. I remember that from the Prelude video if you've been watching. So and now you can kind of see where it's still low, and these spots kind of where the dent, you know, the crest of the dent where it came from, are a little high. So I'll probably be, you know, hitting it with the pick is what it's called, the pointed one, and trying to shrink that area so it turns into a low spot. There's definitely going to be, you know, a little bit of Bondo on here, but it's looking really good so far, especially in this creased area. You can see it's really not too high, which is the main thing. So put some Bondo on there and we'll get it done right. Looking good. Definitely still a lot of work to do though. Alright, so I got it pretty freaking well straightened out, but definitely still some waviness in here. And as you can see, I got the paint off of here because I am going to be spreading some Bondo on here once I'm feeling pretty good about the hammer work. And I was using this new thing from Harbor Freight. It's like a surface reconditioning tool. Works really nice. If I can move over to it. It's got this Scotch Brite pad on it. Once you break through the first layer of paint, it just takes it right down. So now I'm gonna try and, you know, straighten it out. There's still a little, you know, right in here where it kind of needs to be banged out, and then I'll be putting some Bondo on here. But for the most part, these freaking major dents are already pretty much out of there. So looking good on that department, but definitely some Bondo work coming soon. All right, what's up everyone? So got this pretty well straightened out. I think it's ready for a little coat of Bondo. So I'm gonna try and, you know, keep it pretty light layer on here because I don't think it needs that much. I got it, you know, looking pretty good, and use this thing to take off a little bit more of that paint so we can put a nice skim coat over this whole area and get it straightened out. So wish me luck. I think it'll come out good. All right, so good progress has been made. I got pretty much this top part almost perfectly flattened out. A couple spots I need to fill just with a little skim. And then I think it's real close. Kind of up here you can see where the you know, guide coat is still showing up right in here as well. And then this spot's still pretty low, so didn't get it in the second coat I put on here, but I'm gonna fill that as well. And I think I'm gonna throw you guys on a time lapse while I work on this. Show you guys kind of what goes into it to put some Bondo on there. I'm definitely by no means a professional, but getting better all the time. So it's kind of fun to play around with this. Definitely not the most ideal scenario to play around with some Bondo, but we're gonna get her done and it's gonna look good. Definitely keep forgetting the time lapse, but this is what it looks like after. Should have enough fill in there to get it this time. Hopefully it'll be close. All right, back for another day on this thing. So you can see there's just a couple spots that still have guide coat in there showing that they're a little low. So I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse for real this time. I'm gonna do it and show you guys just the final coat of Bondo, or hopefully the final coat. And then I'll be sanding on it and hopefully putting some primer on it. So it is looking pretty good, nice and flat. Just a little touch-up work and then we should be on our way. I got some nice wax and grease remover, so put that on there to get all the dust off and we're on our way. right, hopefully you guys enjoyed that little time lapse me changing the oil in the Acura. So I'm getting back to this now. So my dad helped me and we got it really close. Or not, you know, we're still kind of fighting it, but it's closer than it was. So I need to put a little more Bondo to shape this body line and sand down up here, and a little more Bondo in here. And then also kind of work, you know, work this with a little lighter grit, but up here it feels really nice. So definitely making progress. I got to spray some primer on here pretty soon, because then you can kind of, you know, start getting a little more accurate about it instead of just pasting some heavy Bondo on there and then sanding it, you know, get a little finer with it. So we're making headway. I'm gonna put you guys on a little time lapse and do these little patches here. All right, I had to call in some reinforcements in the form of the old man. My dad frickin' helped me get this thing dialed in. I was kind of going round and round in circles trying to get this all figured out, but he really helped me, you know, establish this line, and it's looking pretty good. So we got basically kind of the final skim on here of Bondo, and then I'm just gonna sand this, you know, with some lighter grits, and then shoot it with some primer. So definitely made a lot of progress since. It might not look like it, but since the last time, it looks way better than it did before. So I might just put you guys on a little time lapse and show you sanding this stuff and shooting some primer on it. All right, so she definitely looks good with a little bit of primer. Kind of, you can see the contours a little better. So now I'm gonna work on, you know, starting to block this out a little bit. So now that it has a little bit of high build primer on here, I'm gonna kind of use this block and make sure that it's nice and straight, and then probably plan on shooting a little more primer on here. All right, guys, so I got this looking pretty good. I definitely needed some help from my dad, but you can see this line's pretty well established and it's pretty flat. So I'm gonna spray it with some of that, you know, guide coat and block it, and then probably get some spot putty out for little stuff like that. And then we're probably on our way to getting this thing painted pretty soon. Alrighty, so as you can see, I got this freaking thing pretty much ready for paint. So I think I'm gonna split, you know, this video into two. So kind of got all the body work done in this one, and then I'll leave you guys with a little cliffhanger, and we'll get to painting in the next one. We're kind of fixing up our paint booth currently to give it a little better ventilation, so it should all come together nicely. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you next video. Hey, thanks for stopping into the Bluebird Enterprises YouTube channel. If you like what you saw, give me a big thumbs up, and hopefully you're leaving with a bigger smile than you came in with.